Will Lightnin Malcolm's brand new album, Turned Up on Loud, win the Nobel Peace Prize? Well, everywhere you go, that's the $1 million question everybody's asking, right? And we don't know yet. I mean, I've tried to stay above it because it shouldn't even be close at this point. You know, everyone agrees I have put together the greatest team in the history of the world here at Headband Music, where we prioritize uncritiquable faith over fact every time. You know, and my team comes to me, women crying. You know, of course I hire women. I mean, it was easier than dealing with the lawsuits. And my one African American friend, who's such a unique and special token member of the organization. Who knew that just one guy could bring so much value to the image and the face of what we're trying to do here? He is a total standout around here, and trust me. Whoever brought him in, that was very smart. Great job. Anyway, my entire team, they always are crying when they come to me, tears flowing down their cheeks. And they're like, sir, please understand your album, Turned Up on Loud, has done more for impoverished inner city families than anything since Abraham Lincoln. Because not only is this album a beacon of inspiration and divine providence, it's actually a shining CD on the hill that has built the American skyline and brought opportunity zones into our urban centers where, you know, inner city kids might be trapped or stuck in school or after school programs. No, we put their little butts to work with a job as part of our Celebrity Salesman Apprentice program, which, of course, I'm the star. I mean, who else are you going to get for that? Literally, my entire identity and integrity are a transactional vessel that's all for sale. You know, and apprenticeship pretty much speaks for itself in terms of capitalizing off of top network television programming to create a celebrity businessman persona and then just carpet bomb the media landscape with relentless repetitive branding on mediums such as the National Enquirer, building massive household name recognition. Nobody can compete with what they've made me into. And, you know, it makes me the perfect no-brainer to quarterback this entire situation. So we send these kids, you know, home to their families and neighborhoods with a job selling our products. You know, products of substance that aren't controlled by the FDA, pharmaceutical, bureaucratic, red tape regulation nonsense. We're just like, here, kids, take these mind-boggling products home to your families and communities where you will be the talk of the town as local celebrities, local stars. I mean, you're never going to work the big, beautiful ballrooms like I do, but we are building rows and rows and rows of intimate rooms with beautiful bars across the front that you can sing behind for captive audiences. And we sell out every neighborhood we go to. Every neighborhood we go to, we sell out. And, you know, I mean, look, there's a whole group of people who won't be organizing or voting against our success anytime soon, you know, because the for-profit prisons and selling our products, that's just the American way of funding the massive militarization of our beautiful law enforcement. And nobody has brought more peace to law enforcement than I have. As divided and as argumentative as our country is, I have brought everybody together to agree that no one has mastered crime like I have. We are so on top of crime right now, we are basically investigating any criminal possibility. We're drilling down on every loophole, crack in the system, at a level to where you have to say I'm number one in crime. You know, Al Capone, you ever heard of him? He's nothing compared to me. He's a baby I could fit in my little finger. And look, I give myself an A+++ in handling crime. I mean, it was my bright idea to remove identification from law enforcement and to have them wear masks. And what this brave and bold initiative has done, it's actually bridged the gap between law enforcement and the hardened criminal. Now the worst of the worst, the most violent thugs out there on the street, they're copying, emulating, imitating, dressing up, and presenting themselves in public, basically impersonating our great law enforcement. And, from the start, we were transparent about this. We've been so transparent that the general citizenry literally cannot distinguish between cops on the beat and violent thugs out there on the street. It's amazing. On my application rejection notice, Mr. Nobel said, if I want to try to win this award, you should begin by speaking out against bigotry and fascism. Well, let me just say, as a celebrity businessman, as a touring musician, as a recording artist, speaking out against bigotry and fascism is so divisive. Oh my God, you do not want to know the backlash I get if I even think about something like that. Because believe it or not, behind closed doors, I actually consider myself to be the least bigoted person you've ever met. But for some reason, the bigots and the fascists absolutely love me. Even though I have zero qualifications, zero experience in public service, they're willing to give me executive privilege, complete and total immunity, the power of pardon, the most powerful military in the world at my fingertips, if I will just be shamelessly willing to go to a public microphone and express what they say behind closed doors. I mean, it's amazing. And the way the world seems to be set up, there is no authority to check white religious power. I mean, their complete and total immunity and battlefield wizardry were placed on full display for the entire world to witness on January 6th, where white evangelicals circumvented and outmaneuvered the most powerful national security system and military in the world, not with tanks or missiles, but with flagpoles and hockey sticks. They didn't even have to pull the guns out from underneath their clothes to remove bomb screening from the number one terrorist target in the world, the United States Capitol, fully loaded with top government personnel. It was biblical the way they held America hostage with a dagger to its throat for hours on live television in broad daylight, in front, totally exposed in front of the world's most dangerous terrorist. I mean, it was like, here, boys, here's a free shot to knock America out of World War III in a single afternoon. Because believe me, America losing its entire governing nucleus in one day, I believe would be America losing what would be the beginning of World War III for the rest of the world. That's why it's the number one terrorist target in the world. I mean, I could spin that around and say the great news here is I got us out of that war on day one within 24 hours, actually less than 24 hours. Actually, literally, as I'm supposed to be getting sworn in, I got us out of the largest conflict in world history. How's that for science? How's that for peace? We can kind of joke about it now, but then everybody was freaking out. I mean, the military, anybody who understands anything about national security or public safety was freaking out. But I didn't panic. I wasn't making a bunch of frantic phone calls. I sat totally still and calm for hours. My team is on record basically saying, look how peaceful he seems in there. Because when this whole thing was over, the very same devil that tricked these people into like a satanic, demonic episode of temporary insanity is now the very same second coming of Christ, coming to forgive them for all their evil sins, to pardon them, and to release them back out on the street with a full understanding of how our legal system is prepared to deal with their violent disruptions to American democracy. I mean, these people, they say great things about me. So, of course, I'm not going to speak out against them. I only speak out against the anti-bigots and the non-fascists who are all on the left and without overwhelming public support are never going to have the real keys and connections to real power, let alone the diabolical spirit to even keep up with us. If I could be brutally frank and be brutally honest just for a second, the left is all mixed up and we're not. Look, as far as international world peace, nothing has done more than my album, Turned Up on Loud. We stopped the stupid, endless overseas wars that rage on forever and that never would have even happened in the first place if the fake mainstream media had covered and promoted the release of this album the way we wanted them to. Look, the disaster part, that's y'all's fault. You know, hey, I inherited everything here. You know, you guys should probably go tell the Peace Prize people that we changed the word defense to the word war. That means, like, instead of America's self-defense, it's now America's self-war. You know, I mean, the press, you guys know better than anybody that society is very binarily divided between fact-based liberal progressives versus faith-based illiberal regressives. Look those words up. You know, and my most famous slogan is fight, fight, fight. You know, not something corny like fight for justice or fight for diversity or fight for equality or fight for inclusion, but no, just fight, fight, fight. In fact, no one has gotten both sides of America to stand up side by side and fight together like I have. You know, and somebody should probably tell these Peace Prize characters, we fight like hell, especially if we don't get the outcome we desire. Oh, you can consider that the ultimate fighting challenge dropped right on your front lawn, because nobody has seen a fight here like this since the Civil War and the days of Abraham Lincoln. You know, I keep getting compared to Honest Abe today. I mean, I guess I don't mind. Actually, I mind. I mind. Because I think in terms of human being that I'm in a class and category all by myself. Because we have brought all those stupid, endless overseas wars, all that death, destruction, carnage, astronomical expense, we've brought it all back home to America first. Why go halfway around the world to some place I can't pronounce or find on a map when we can build those fights right here at home? Real Americans fighting on real American soil. And look, the investment we're getting from outside countries on this is through the roof. Like billions, trillions of dollars being invested from the outside. Nobody can say that I haven't brought peace between us and our most dangerous adversarial war criminals, who, since I've been in charge, basically they haven't had to fire a single shot at us. They're actually saying things like, you know what? Let's just get out of America's way here and let them fight the way they want all by themselves. It should bring peace to the entire world to know that we are openly sharing top secret national security information back and forth freely with the most dangerous adversarial war criminals who are now cheering me on as their newest, bestest friend. You know, they're on my side. It should really bring peace of mind to our brave men and women of uniform stationed overseas. You know, actually, I can't wish them peace. I want to, but I can't. Because if the fighting stops, they're out of a job and I go to prison. I mean, look, now the fake mainstream media is saying we absolutely have to give the Nobel Peace Prize to President Biden for rescuing America and the world from a tragic right-wing plunge into anti-science collapse of health, supply lines, and world economy. I mean, sir, he fixed he fixed the economy, but as a man of unassailable faith that can never be questioned, let me ask you, is money everything to you people? I mean, sir, President Biden strengthened NATO's position against the Russian right-wing provocation to World War III to further advance the fossil fuel industrial complex's stranglehold on the globe and to disrupt and insurrect global collectives for democracy and possible renewable energy competition models. Yeah, I mean, he did all that. They make a great point. You ever notice how when they air his appearances, they always edit it to make him look so smart, and they try to edit mine to make me look dumb as a rock. Like every time, they make me look so stupid. Every time. I mean, you start wondering if there's not something to that. You know, look, he did all those things, but just look how temporary his progressive solutions were. Because here we are now, right back in charge, more powerful, more determined than ever. And the only piece we're bringing this time is a gigantic piece of big black coal in your stocking as part of our Project 25 war on happy holidays. Look, I think I should get the damn award for it seems like I'm the only human that noticed something very significant that President Biden said at his last State of the Union address, where he announced that the scientific research around developing the COVID vaccine had led to amazing scientific breakthroughs in how we will be able to cure cancer. Now, this is either the biggest news in medical history or he lied about the biggest news in medical history. And they've been trying to catch him in a lie somewhere, anywhere, so bad they want to catch him lying. But here he is at his most televised event of his entire career, and no one says he's lying. That means it has to be true. We are right there at a cure for cancer. Which at that point, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking we're probably going to try to take all the credit for the vaccine and a cure for cancer. No. Actually, what we have done, not only have we disparaged these progressive solutions, but we have actually compared them to our regressive, hyper-capitalistic nightmares such as American slavery and the Holocaust. I mean, imagine the confidence we have to compare a medical breakthrough to slavery or the Holocaust. You know, it's the same confidence we have when we tell our children, kids, the reason President Biden did such an amazing job last night is he must be on drugs. You know, say what you will, we would have never left cocaine unused, just laying around the residence like that. No way, no way. Look, on the surface, these progressive cures, I mean, they look amazing. Yeah, sure, they would save infinite lives, infinite taxpayer dollars. But the pharmaceutical and health insurance mega corporations warn us that these cures are really just a Trojan horse for universal health care, like all the other developed countries have. And I mean, they warn us that we can never, ever, ever let that happen here in America. You know, we're America. We can never change or evolve. I mean, here we are, right on the precipice of a cure for cancer. We're right there. Instead, we are boldly blocking all cancer research moving forward. And by doing so, we are ensuring and protecting the capitalization of cancer as the number one economic driver powering the pharmaceutical and health insurance empires golden age of prosperity for a long time to come. And if I might just point out, technically, as a man of angelic philosophy and with dozens of convictions to my name, I would like to point out that these progressive solutions, they're actually prolonging and delaying people's entrance into the kingdom of heaven for longer and longer periods of time. Whereas our policies are designed to expedite your advancement and entrance into the pearly gates of heaven as quickly as possible as part of our final solution, where you can finally rest in peace. How's that for science? How's that for peace? No. Nobel is not responding the way I'd hoped. Who is Nobel Peace Prize anyway? They're trying to act like there's some big deal. Nobody even heard of them until I wanted to get the award. And now I have made them the hottest thing in the land. Now everybody's talking about them, But what everybody's saying, everybody knows the Nobel Peace Prize is rigged. It's absolutely rigged. It's absolutely rigged if I lose. Now, if I win, it's not rigged. Somebody somewhere should probably think about the logic that I'm using there. While you're at it, think about the 0.00001% voter fraud that we grieve over night and day in earnest, but only when I lose. The wackos over there at Science, they would have you believe that this is just the standard clerical errors of over 150 million people voting. But we ask you to consider the inventive insanity required to believe that a person would actually willingly attach their government ID in a government function to a provable on-paper felony in their name with no actual deliverable guaranteed to themselves personally. That's almost too much to believe. But hey, that's why our organization requires incredible and unbelievable faith. The great news is, I think that we've fixed all that. You've heard me say 1,000 times that an election is like a prize fight. And a prize fight can be fixed. You've heard of that, a fixed fight, the fix was in. Well, we have fixed this election to where there's no conceivable way that I can lose. And now I alone can fix everything. In fact, I make this pledge here and now. When I win, I promise to fix everything in the world. That should bring great peace of mind to everybody. Look, I like the people over there at Nobel. They're nice guys, and they've done some positive things over the years, and we've actually been like family friends for a century. But I'm an independent outsider and a free thinker. And, they've been very unfair to me over the years and just shut me out. Maybe it's because they know me best. Like if I win, it's going to look like an inside job or something. But that's basically been the case every step of my career. So I don't know why they're letting that stop us now. Look, I very recently offered to let them stay at my properties free of charge. And believe me, that doesn't happen very often. I'm not going to just sit here and let the fake news mainstream media try to create some kind of hostile divide between Nobel Peace Prize and us. Nobel's got their thing over there, and we have our thing over here at Headband Music. It's all one love. I just love writing music for the people. I don't care anything about awards or prizes or creating fake press conferences just to get media attention or to try to get credit for something I didn't do. Although in some cases, some instances, the credit would be nice. Sometimes the credit would be nice. You know what my award is? You know what my prize is? Peace. That's all I want. Peace. I want everybody in the world to stop killing each other and to love one another. Peace.